at least as it pertained to the players. So you make that initial push and you do what you can to draw attention to the issues and how riveting this is for you and the African American community. But ultimately, once you take a deep breath, you also got to consider the other side. And the other side is that there's a collective bargaining agreement to honor. There's over $200 million that the NBA paid for you to be in a bubble. You agreed to participate in that bubble. You've got a collective bargaining negotiation that in all likelihood is coming down the pike that's scheduled to cost these players billions. And obviously, if they didn't participate moving forward, it would have cost them at least an additional $1 billion. I'm told it's almost worth $1 billion just for the NBA finals alone in terms of the television contract. So you know, with the owners feeling a pinch, the league feeling a pinch, they were going to ensure that the players felt a pinch. And last but not least, when you think about the noise that was resonating from the players in terms of really speaking out publicly, the question was, which platform is bigger for you? While you're playing and cameras and microphone are thrusted in your face, or when you step away and you doing selfies or something? This is where the highest profile is provided for them. The league knows it. The players know it. I think as a result, the players made the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, Matt and Richard agree with you, I know, on that idea, but I'd love to hear from these guys, too, about what you think they can do going forward. But Matt, to Stephen A's point, they're going to be in this hot white spotlight going forward. What would you like to see the guys doing?
Continue to push forward. Continue to, call the owners. The owners need to start standing side by side with these players. Plenty of owners have sat on their hands and kept their mouth shut. So it's time for some action. But let's think about this. There's people who are paid and devote their whole entire life to coming up with a plan that's going to eradicate all this and help all this. You're asking basketball players that you first of all told shut up to dribble and stick to basketball, to all of a sudden come up with a plan, backs against the wall, in the bubble, it's just going to eradicate the hate of the color of our skin. It's not going to happen. So this is a process that's going to take...
Also not their responsibility.
Right. It's a process that's going to take all of us. It's going to take white people who created it, all colors, to come together and figure out what exactly is the next step. So we have their attention now. I think we have to strategically move forward. But the progress we make today, we're not going to feel as adults. Our children are going to feel, their children are going to feel. So people have to understand this is a process, and they understand that right now their platform is bigger than it's ever been, and in that bubble, their message is worldwide.
Yeah, no, I agree. We've been talking, on and off camera, and one of the things that we discussed was that when you start to look at who owns these teams and where they invest their money, and if they're going to invest their money in something that is completely counter to what Black Lives Matter is, or completely counter to the lies of the individuals that are out there, when you know that the NBA is predominantly black, and if your views don't necessarily align with those views, then that means you're purely in this for the money. And I think those times and those days are slowly starting to come to an end. Right. If you're going to make money off of black labor and African-American labor and even European labor and labor that's coming from all around the world, then your views should most likely be aligned with theirs. Or it doesn't mean you can't have disagreements or you can't have, different schools of thought, but you should be able to sit down with them and listen to their voices, because that's where you're making your money. So you should also be aligned with them to a certain degree.
And I would take it a step further. I think the NBA has a responsibility here. And Stephen, I'm interested in your opinion on this. Look, there's a team that we think is going to change hands pretty soon. The Minnesota Timberwolves have been exploring a sale. Don't you think that the NBA should be looking more stringently at potential buyers and what they represent? Because this is a private business, and people are allowed out in the world to have any opinion they want. I want to make this very clear. You have the right in America to support politically whoever you want to do, put your money toward whoever you want to put your money toward. But I am not sure that the private business of the NBA anymore should be in the business of having partnerships, and that's what these team owners call themselves, partnerships with people who actively put their money and support causes that directly oppose the health and safety of their own players.
Great point.
Well. You're absolutely on point with that, Rachel, and I'm sure RJ and Matt would agree. But we also have to acknowledge the fact that the players have a responsibility in supervising the process to some degree as well. If it were truly a partnership, why were you satisfied just getting your money and leaving those kind of decisions to them as it pertains to who gets to join their league? The Board of Governors, you know this, Rachel Nichols, doing the exceptional job of coaching the NBA that you do. You got 30 of them. Excuse me, be involved in that process. Be an active participant. When people are calling for you to go out in the streets and protest if you're a player, remind them, excuse me, protest obviously usually equals progress, but that's usually for the voiceless, trying to discover a voice. If you are an NBA player, you already have one. Not only that, you already have a platform. Not only that, you have access to those in positions of power to influence political figures who have the power to make the changes that you are looking to be made. So there is a process that obviously is going to be followed, but the NBA players have the opportunity and have had the opportunity over the course of years in recent memory to be a part of that process, but they haven't put forth the necessary due diligence to make that happen. Now that all of this has come about and they feel compelled to step forward and they've said enough is enough, we hope that it's not going to just be boycotting or postponing games. We hope it's going to be something far more significant than that, not just on a local level, but the state level and the federal level, because they have the cachet to do it. You can't go on social media talking about we have this power, but then when you have the power to exercise it, you never do. Because when you choose that route, you usually lose that power.
We will.
And that's what it is incumbent upon all of us to remind them of and ourselves, because we don't get left off the hook either. We're here on national television. My job, y'all job, is going to be to join hands with them for the causes that are right and righteous. It's not just on them, it's on all of us. But that's what has to be done.